are you anyway, my brother?
Oh,
Good?
cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Chilling. Fam, working this week was mad. I've done. Thank you, because all the good work you lot do on JD Sports. They open up the opportunities for more black people.
Yeah,
so I was over there doing a bit of work. Shout out to you, doing good work.
Yeah. I hear that.
And the Den happened today. Couple
Who? What?
The Den, they done like
the Den, they did their thing.
So I was there beforehand, and
because
that's why I couldn't say no to Frisco. Like it's Frisco.
Yeah.
So I would have done that, and everyone was turned up wicked. Deep Power, Big Zeke's set was mad.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the Den is cold still. They were doing them in Shoreditch, like just little live nights, artists performing and that. Usually at the end, Frisco might touch Mike. You get what I'm saying?
Big Flo and touch Mike today.
Flowdown was there as well.
Chucky, I needed you there.
I don't know what. A bad boy on the microphone, you know.
This is what I was saying. What was you doing before? I wanted you to cut.
I didn't even know.
Crazy,
I was at night,
bro.
to be fair, all day.
Yeah,
still.
you. Okay.
Flowdown's a bad boy still. Now people that like. You know what? It's mad. We don't talk enough about Flowdown and his style. What?
I know, man. Him and J2K are cousins, you know.
Are they?
You can. I see the similarities.
You can
around
see it.
They're so. Cause them man are just.
Yeah, and you can see because obviously J2K's got the yard man thing in him. His dad's a Rasta man and that as well, innit?
You know what I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Like they just remind me of Jamaica. Like remind me of Jamaica.
Yeah.
Big Zeeks and them man.
Yeah.
They remind me of Ocheria. They remind me of Spanish Town, and it's mad when they touch Mike.
Honorable shout out to Big Zeeks, man.
What?
Still.
The whole of Northwest there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciated this evening. It was absolutely incredible.
So you saying that there was a vibe?
The vibe was Halsden, I think they're from. A wonderful part of Jamaica that is. I'm sorry. I'm making it part of Jamaica. There's no rules.
Halsden is like Jamaica.
That is Jamaica.
I feel like the whole of Northwest is like Jamaica, to be fair.
I want now, when you go to Northwest, I do want someone to... Let me see your passport. This is Jamaica.
Yeah, that's Jamaica.
This is Jamaica.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm with it.
Do you know what? More time you at one point you could have went to Halsden and a man would just have a sound system string up on the high road.
Well then,
a man just have a sound system string up one time on the high road. Vibes, be a vibe agwan. Even in the Caribbean shops, there's a man in there with a little thing playing tunes, trying to sell a CD and that. What? Listen.
Do you know what you say that? That's why I used to love when I was you see my dad, my mum used to go West Green Road and we used to get the veg and the bun and cheese and the ackee and, you know what I'm saying?
Ackee and saltfish.
But you know what I miss, Chucky? Just go into the barber shop. And then the person comes in with the DVD. The next person comes in with the clothes. It's just you're watching a pasta DVD on the TV.
I'm telling you,
I miss it.
I'm telling you,
they don't do it like they used to, Chucky.
A man might even all come with a fairy liquid and that. Someone's trying to hustle something.
West Green Road, shout it out as well. I love. And not top West Green Road, I'm talking the bottom.
Yeah.
The bottom West Green Road across the road from Tesco's. Body Music was on the corner, but they're just trying to gentrify.
The record shop.
But they made it look smaller and they're trying to push the brothers out. But I'm out here just trying to hold up my hand like Body Music, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The fruit and veg stop next to the bridge in West Green Road on the left hand side. Thank you.
Yeah.
With a paper brown bag.
Let's talk about that quickly. Dub Vendor, Labrador Grove. They had one in Clapham as well. Record shop, yeah. I used to be a super youth man. Save up because my dad was a DJ. So I grew up around my dad playing music and vinyls all about the place and whatever, yeah. So when I could get my £6, however I could get my £6, I'd venture up to Labrador Grove now, go to Dub Vendor. You see Bear Rasta man and that in the shop, whatever. You see the man, Red Man was his name, that used to work in Dub Vendor in Thing, right? And how dancehall works in particular is, dancehall more time is there's like a rhythm. It's not just one tune, so there's like a rhythm and then you'll have like 6 or 7 versions on that same instrumental, yeah? Okay. So now, a new rhythm might drop now. So then Red Man might just play one version of the rhythm and then if you want that, you just put your hand up like that.
No way.
Then he'll put your one, so he would know, he's got this one there, that one there, your one's here, and then someone else is there. And then he'll just go through the rhythms, just play some of the rhythms, and then obviously people have got money, some people got money, they can get every piece on a rhythm, yeah? I'm there with my £6, I can only get one piece of the rhythm. So I got to wait for when he plays the Beanie Man or when he plays the Bounty Killer or something like that, because that's the one that I want. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's the one that I can afford. Yeah? Man are leaving there with 7, 8, 9, 15 tunes. I'm leaving there with my one. Yeah? But that was my... What? Community! You go in there and it's just community spirit. You might even all just be in there, not even have no money. You might just be in there, just listening to someone just running tune. That's how it was.
I really miss it. I do honestly. I don't know. Maybe it does still happen, and maybe I'm just out of touch, you know. So maybe I should have just said that. But for a little bit though, I do miss that, man.
Do you feel like that happens in Caribbean shops still though? I don't feel like.
Nah,
when I go to Caribbean shops, I don't really see. Before I used to see that too. But in Halsden anyway.
Halsden will probably still have it, but what I think is because our culture's been commercialized, they're just having to change up things because the demographic of people are coming in there is just changing. So when I used to go inside there, it was just the brothers.
Definitely.
It was just, you could order from the door. I ordered peppers and spice from across the road.
Okay, I get you.
Via infrared. Like you could, yo, a party and you walk in and you get it. And I used to, now, and I think I liked that sort of ignorant vibe of I can do that. What? That's what it is. And now it's sort of go in and single file in the shop and courtesy I run and I'm not saying it can't run, but you know what I mean? Like,
courtesy, that's not community.
You know, but bro.
Yeah, there was no, in Caribbean shops, there's no courtesy. There's no queue. There's none of that. Yeah? Do you know what? If the queue's there, that's for your own, you decided to do that.
Yeah.
If you want to use it, go
ahead. A man just walk in now, you be in there queuing or whatever, a man just walk in now and say, yo, any cow foot down there?
That's what I'm saying.
And they'll serve you. They'll serve you.
But you know what though? I feel like in that shop, do you know what my father said to me? He goes, boy, sometimes when you go peppers and spice, you have to earn the respect for get served. I said, what? So when I used to go inside there sometimes, I used to just play my little role. So I come in and run my little dead Jamaican accent. They used to laugh at me, but I always got attention. So I could order my thing. You needed to do your... I like that.
I'm not going to lie. You know what? When I started realising, that is part of the play, I said to myself, I can't do it in... there's context in it. If there's an older woman for me who could be like my mum or my auntie or whatever, I wouldn't do that. Yeah. But if I just go in there and it's just regular people or whatever, when I walk in, I go straight to the front. Mummy, what are you saying? Is there curry? Can I? Bust me. Get me a curry chicken. While you're back there, get me a curry chicken with the plain rice and you got some coleslaw. Fling that in there. And what are you saying? Some plantain? Yeah, fling the plantain in there and that as well. Yeah, hey, mummy, when you're back there as well, get me a Guinness punch when you come back, yeah? And then I just, smile at everyone else and then go and do my thing.
But I had a thought just now, I just thought right now, another thing, because I used to have loads of different types of friends. Turkish friends, shout out Jihan and them, man, that Hussein, my G's, old school.
Jihan, honourable shout out to Jihan. Come on.
Then I had my, my brethren, my Ghanaian friends, my Nigerian friends, I had Michael and Jeffrey, shout them man out. But when we used to go to the Caribbean shop, when I saw someone behind the counter that wasn't smiling, that didn't mean they weren't unhappy. But because you don't understand that culture, that's how people used to interpret it. So their energy now towards that person is reflective of what they think it is. But when I used to walk inside there, when anybody was miserable or upset, it didn't have an impact on me because my whole family's like that. Sometimes their face just push up. But when you say hello to them now, they all snap out and it's like, oh, you're right, sweetie. And you're like, well, go on, you're right. But if you walk inside there and their thing is making you feel inferior or that's when you just take it as they're miserable. They're not actually like that, it's actually a vibe, to be fair.
Straight away, more time, no matter how twist up the faces and that, more time I'm in there on a vibe of mummy or auntie, yeah, and then you're embraced the same way, like son, son, nephew, whatever it is. Do you get what I'm saying? Like that energy, I understand it because I'm from it. So it seems as though as you said, it seems as though it comes from a negative place. It's not. It's not that at all. It's not that at all. Do you know what? I had a deeper question though. I got a deeper question, yeah? How do I say this? Is the younger generation, would you say, losing touch with elements of that culture?
But it's not their
where
fault.
they come from.
It's not their fault.
Right, talk.
I think, and this is just a thought, there's not much thought into it because we're having the conversation now, so I might get some things wrong.
I didn't put it in my, the thing going.
Yeah, come on, family. But when I look at the way I grew around a lot of, I wasn't sheltered. So a lot of the environments I grew around were very realistic, and there's a lot of Jamaicans. And the Jamaican family I have, they're very realistic people. So like, the way my father grew was, I can't make you feel like life is sunny and smiley because life isn't like that. So I'm never going to shelter you away from issues because if I shelter you from them, eventually when you approach them, you're not going to know what to do. So my community, the most glorified individuals were people that were still in the struggle. So your kind of aspirations was to be a part of the struggle, but to just be the best part of the struggle. But in that, there's a very realistic approach to life. The moment the most admirable person from your community is in the commercial world, you begin to desire something, which means that you're no longer your natural environment. You have to conform in order to adapt to go to somewhere else. And that sounds good at the start. But the problem is, if your design and your mechanic is a particular thing, and then now the new thing is to be a part of the commercial world and get the chain and the car and everyone's blessed. When you go back to the environment, which is far from sheltered, you no longer fit in because that's not the mantra and that's not the way you live within there. So that's the problem now. Everyone's aspiring to be a glorified version of the hood in the commercial world, but the way you mechanics and the way you're designed, you're never gonna conduct yourself the way you will conduct yourself in that real world. Everything's blessed. There'll be hood like gangster rappers who seem extremely upset. And I'm not saying you can't be blessed, but when you've done a 3-minute 13-second song based upon violence and then you see everyone and it's blessed and peace and all of that, it's a very confusing message for everybody because I like the way some other rappers profile where they're like, I'm not doing interviews, they don't make it blessed, but whoever they're blessed with, they're blessed. But they're just not like that with everyone. That seems to be the mantra of a lot of the old school rappers. They just come to their thing and you're like, you know what, I rate my man doing his thing, but I'm not about to shout him out. I'm staying over here. That keeps our world very reflective of the world that it is. The moment it's blessed and everyone's cool, cause you're Will Smith at 50 years old talking about entanglement. You gotta keep it real, fam. You know, like that.
Do you know what? I'm kind of. I hear you still. I'm looking at it from a perspective of like. See, I ain't thought about this. Just came to my head as we was talking, innit? Yeah. So, for me growing up, as I remember, I told you my dad was a DJ and my mum was a music head. So I can't speak for everyone. I can only speak for what I saw and what was around me or whatnot. So my dad being a reggae man, my mum's a soul head, but she loves reggae obviously.
And reggae groove and all that.
Reggae groove. My mum, she loves that. You get what I'm saying? And then you're flinging a Madonna and that. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, and a quick Celine Dion and that. That's her thing. Yeah. You understand how this thing goes? Being around the world and all them gal there.
What? Your mum's going mad for that. I feel you.
That's her.
Your dad's it's a long time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
We know her. All right. So we don't take the picture. I'm fucking with you.
So. Boom. I grew up strongly around that, and so did my cousins and all of that. Food-wise, that was a lot of what I ate. I ate a lot of food from where I came from. So although I wasn't born in Jamaica, in my house was like Jamaica, technically. Do you get what I'm saying? Same. And around my cousins and everywhere else and whatever, it was still that. And so naturally, when you're a kid and you go out and you start living in your village, naturally your experience is going to be different to your parents because the music that you listen to ain't necessarily going to be the same. So you're going to start getting into grime, you're going to start getting into garage, you're going to start getting into hip-hop, all of these other things or whatnot. But still, even though these were the things that I liked and I loved, when I went home I still had elements of that. So I was still always very in tune with that. And so now, even now in this age that I'm at now, more time on a Sunday. If you drive around in the car with me on a Sunday, enough time I'm playing a Garnet Silk, I'm playing a Dennis Brown, I'm doing like that. And when I go to Jamaica, I feel very connected to that place. Now, the difference now might be when I have children. I wasn't born in Jamaica, and I'm very musically broad. So if I have a child, they're going to be brought up in a place where there's going to be a lot of different styles of music or whatever, but the thing is I still eat a lot of the food that from where I come from. I can cook a lot of it, so they'll still have that attachment to it. But I feel that like for some people it's not necessarily the case, like you just kind of, which is not a bad thing, you just kind of go with the shaping of how you've been within your village. Do you get what I'm saying?
Do you know what's so crazy?
Do you understand where I'm going with it? So I feel like over a period of time, like your dad probably, like when you go home, you just remember like old school garage was your thing and grime was your thing because that's what your dad listened to. Do you get what I'm saying? So, and now when you start becoming an adult yourself, that thing that you used to listen to when you was a kid is what your kids would listen to. And then so in some way, depending on how you connect with your culture and how connected you are to your culture, could dilute it a bit or make it stronger. Do you get what I'm saying?
This is the problem now.
Does that make sense?
No, what you've said makes perfect sense. I'm trying to see how I can make
So that's
I
why
don't
I
wanna
asked, like,
keep- yeah.
is it?
This is what it is to me. Our culture is commercialized, so everything from it is being diluted. So what it is,
Yes.
So
Yeah, definitely.
and what's happened is the heightened examples of our culture back in the day would have been Bob Marley, and that's one of the purest examples. And although he did conform and bring guitars and do loads of different things with the Wailers that made like a lot of Jamaicans go, wait a minute, is this really authentic? Well, he is an authentic individual. And then you can go back as far as when we were young. We had Tupac, Biggie, authentic individuals from their community who pretty much did what they did. So they were speaking for the whole of the community, misunderstood by the whole of the world, but it made sense later on in life. Cool. I don't think anybody's doing that within fashion anymore. I don't really think much people do that within music anymore. I don't think much people do that within loads of different things. If you take a look at the older generation, who had the first generation of migrants, they consistently do it. But I am looking at a lot of the younger generation, and I'm taking a look at like a lot of young parents and so on and so forth. And one thing we're all missing is a strong sense of culture. We
Yes,
all have a very
definitely.
commercialized sense of
And that's
culture.
where I'm going.
So we do things that we see people in the commercial world or people that conform to something else do. But when you go back to your community, man are not really in it. That's why I always say this. If you're not the topic of the conversation in the barbershop for all the reasons that most people are the conversation in the topic of the barbershop, I don't think you are now connecting to your community anymore. I think a lot of people are just heightened examples of when you leave the community, this is what you could become within another world. And that's nice if that's what you want to do. But unfortunately, by conforming to a commercial example of something which is actually catered to a larger demographic, you no longer become a spokesperson for that community, because that community requires a specific skill set that you would have got from your parents and I would have got from my parents.
Definitely.
And we're hopefully going to try and give to our kids. But then if that's because of we do Halfcast, and that's because all the work you do externally is still very much connected to your culture. That's why you can go on your high street and everyone can chat to you. But some people within this parameter, what they do is very commercialized examples of things where you have to filter yourself down, you can't be what you want, and then you become the example of a black person from our community, but you don't even live here. So it confuses everything. So young kids growing up are like, wait, is that the example of culture or is that the example of culture? Am I meant to play Garnet Silk? Am I meant to play UB40? Like it's all very confusing.
Yeah, definitely. I even asked the question of like, how many of the young bucks go to a Caribbean shop and know what like the food, like know the food? I know that sounds like a mad question, but it's like, do you know the food?
No, I think they do, because I'll tell you one thing, I think they do. A lot of, this is the one thing about the younger
I
generation.
feel like Africans do
No.
young like
They do,
black
Jamaicans-
Caribbeans.
They do. The African community, I have to respect the younger generation so much for what they've done.
The Africans.
The African
Hey, listen.
community, you see the younger generation, the way they have celebrated being African, I didn't grow up seeing that. So when I see the NSGs, and I can go on
I
forever.
have to stop you though. I feel
Bruv,
like, do you feel like you didn't?
incredible.
Do you feel like you didn't grow up seeing it? I feel like I
know-
grew
I
up
know
seeing
what-
it from like a Jamaican perspective. I feel
No,
like
but I
did.
wasn't talking about Jamaica. I was talking, when it comes to, like, for example,
Oh, you
when
didn't
I
grow up
grew
seeing
up,
it with them.
everyone wanted to be Jamaican.
Right, okay, got it.
Everyone
Yeah,
wanted
I
to be
get you,
Jamaican.
I get you, I get you.
Every black person wanted, Nana wanted to be Benjamin, and fam, I'm being real. Baba Tunde wanted to be Benjamin.
Timothy.
Desmond.
Timothy.
Fam, pork pine.
Yeah, I
anything.
know that.
Something Jamaican or Caribbean. So now when I take a look at the African community, the amount of pride they take in saying
Yeah,
I'm from
for
Ghana, I'm from Sierra Leone, and Harry and Nigeria. Skepta's always been, listen, let's not even get onto that because you know what they're on. But I just like that. I really love that because it makes me really interested in other parts of the culture in which you represent. And I think that's the reasons why,
Got you.
I think culture can stay alive. When you look at all the real examples of what you love about your country, and that's what you begin to, do you know where I'm coming from? Because remember, culture to a certain extent comes from pain. So if you're now promoting culture in a very glorified manner, you're not promoting culture.
Yeah.
The commercial world promotes glorified shit. We promote pain and we show you our interpretation of it, what we do on Halfcast. You know where I'm coming from? What loads of personalities and musicians and artists and people do, they from their struggle they create something which is amazing. But if you are no longer in a struggle, if you're not in the part where the culture is, how the hell are you going to contribute to it?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know, man.
Well, yeah, man. You know what I mean? Big up to the young bucks them who listen to reggae
Aye.
music and stuff like that still. Do you know what I mean?
We still got coffee.
Yeah.
And you know, got-
do you know what? I tell you, actually,
Blessings to
now because you just made me think about something as well. I feel like there's a whole new generation of reggae singers that are coming through, and that like are making nice little noises. You said Coffee's there. There's a girl called Leela Ike. There's a girl called Savannah. There's like a few of them that's kind of like out there just subtly doing their thing. And it's like you could just be, the good thing about streaming services and stuff like that, you might all have a coffee running and that, and then Spotify might, or one of the other streaming services might fling in a Leela Ike or a Savannah, or even an old school tune they might even fling in there. Because there's certain things that when I'm listening to it's just on, you know, it's throwing me back, it's giving me some new tunes or whatnot. But I say all of that to say that there's like a new crop of artists that are coming through that are making authentic reggae music that I like too. Because I don't even, amazing. The direction of where dancing is going, which is a conversation for another day, is a direction that worries me a little bit, because I don't really like the dancehall trap thing that's going on or whatever.
It's not based upon the principles, no more. You know the most disappointing thing about culture? The most disappointing thing? I look at other families, or I look at other things, and I always, for example, the Turkish community, shout out Jihan and Hussein, they have their uncles have a shop, boom, they go work in the shop, they follow on the family name, they keep the shop, they may build and make other stuff, but the shop, this is where we started, never forget that we started from the shop. I've got some Turkish friends that have that type of philosophy, and they've gone and made loads of different things, but they don't forget that. That's the way they started. When I take a look at my culture, the only upsetting thing is that we all had a starting point, we all had an entry point which was very genuine. And you just got to look at where you are in life right now and ask yourself, how genuine is your position now? So if your entry point into hip-hop was Jay-Z, I look at where Jay-Z is now and I go, incredible. But if you're fully immersed within a culture which is not essentially your own, and remember, our culture comes from pain. If you're in that, you're lost, bro. Like, give it a couple of years, and cause when you go back to the family barbecue, it's just not the same vibe.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Do you know where I'm coming from? Whereas some people, they're so immersed within this, whatever this happens to be, culture and like a real life.
Yeah. When
they're in the commercial world, they look like a madman.
Yeah.
Man will be like, oh, he's a bit this, he shouldn't do that, he shouldn't. It's because he's just a regular. That's what our culture. That's one thing about our culture. It doesn't ask for perfection.
All right.
And the commercial world asks for perfection. That's why when you watch a Hollywood film, the homeless man has great teeth.
Of course.
When I watch Arsenal, my manager has jet black hair. But in my community...
What? Listen, grow your hair out. In our community, listen, grow your hair out. That's our thing. Grow your beard out. Exactly. Go and do your thing. Because you know what it is? It's a different type of energy, man, to walk around with. Huh? Listen, anyway, Callum, rooftop Callum, go and get yourself a sour sap juice and taste that and make that lick off your head one of these days and come back here and have a conversation about the sour sap juice, yeah? All right. Anyway.
Come on, and he's not joking.
I'm not joking. Go and get one of them juice there, man. Them juice wicked.
Wait. Is it alcoholic?
Nah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, we're good then.
And get some sarsaparilla as well.
Yeah, man, trust me. A Julie mango. Huh? Listen,
right.
mad.
And green banana porridge. Listen, we had a conversation about it today. Do not play games.
Green banana listen.
With some cinnamon. Do not play games.
Let me tell you a quick story.
Yeah.
I'm in Jamaica now with Benny.
No way, Scarzy.
Yeah.
What?
So we're walking now. We was in where was we? I can't even remember which part of Jamaica it was at. It'll come to me in a piece anyway. So anyway now, we're trying to go and find breakfast or whatnot, and then we found this place, gone and got breakfast. There's bare things going on or whatnot. So I'm just going around I'm just getting loads of bits and pieces to eating, yeah. Benny comes over to me, says, you know what, yeah? Try that banana and peanut porridge over there. Try that one. You see, when I tried that banana and peanut porridge, blouse and skirt.
With the socks.
What? Listen! I could have sat there until 5 in the morning.
Where's Benny from?
I think he's from Barbados.
He's due to be a Rasta soon anyway.
I think so. This is bad if I don't know where he's from.
Benny is due to, because he's recommended the porridge. What? Every time I chat to this brother, he's forever on a how's the family?
Lick off my head, bruv. Lick off. I couldn't believe it. I could have sat there and drank the whole of that. Mad.
Chucky, can we go to Jamaica?
Yeah.
And
man.
do a Halfcast episode right there.
I would love to. Remember, we mentioned that. We mentioned that.
No, Callum, you're not invited.
We say get a different cameraman.
Nah, you can't.
No, we can't do that.
Where in Callum? Where the mountains?
We're going to the hills. Because the hills, boy. What?
There's a
Listen.
Halfcast out there. I'm
Sit
coming.
there with the Rasta man them and, you know what I mean?
Reason.
Yeah,
And do you know what it is,
man,
Chucky?
drink some, you know what I mean?
That's what's
some
so
green
mad.
tea.
When you
What?
watch certain things, yeah, they always go back to the old person who's had pure wisdom, pure experience, and they can tell you just the things that you're distracted by. Like, don't be distracted by this. This is the truth.
Yeah.
And I just think this generation, for whatever reason, and I understand them because some of the older generation, it's all a bit weird, isn't it? So you probably don't want to, have them as your idols. But I do think some of the younger generation coming up from the culture that we're from, that is full of loads of different things. I think they look at the grass and they say it's 100% greener. And when you get over there, for the first 2-3 years, I'm telling you, it may be greener. But you see the thing about culture, it's not meant to be perfect. So if you're running somewhere looking for perfection, then by all means you're going to have problems.
Trust me.
If you accept your culture and you accept all the good things that come within it, and then say, do you know what, I'm just going to create a way of just navigating through this and making sure I avoid the bad things, what happens is you become a very, very integral member of your community.
Yeah.
And then by that time, you've got so much respect, you ain't going to have no problems.
Yeah, for
But
real.
what people do is create bare fuckery and go, I'm going over there.
Yeah.
To the commercial world. The commercial world is fuckery. It's complete fuckery because it doesn't identify and it doesn't allow you to make a mistake. So that's kind of like why I like culture, because I walk into the peppers and spice in wherever, could be Tottenham, could be Hackney, and they're not smiling. Do you know why? Because life ain't always full of smiles.
I'm telling you.
This
stuff.
whole, give service with a smile. Listen, my brother, if you just come off the phone, you broke up with your gal, you lost your goldfish, and you're trying to name your cat, if you can't smile with me at that second right there, don't work at Argos, go to the patty shop. We'll accept you, my brother. We might all say, you know what? Benji, go around the back and me deal with this. Yo, what am dog, what you want? And you can come forward when you're ready.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is a healthy place to be.
Yeah,
a place
for
where
real.
you're told, make a mistake, dog.
This is a mad random question, yeah? And it's so vague. But you can take it wherever you want to take it. Have you ever felt like you've blocked a blessing?
I saw that message you sent me, yeah? And consciously, because it's kind of mad to rule it out, but consciously I think I can. But maybe, I don't know, maybe subconsciously I block something out because of the way I am. But in a conscious state of mind, from my understanding, I'm actually a very tolerant person, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I've got bags of patience, mate. So I don't think I would block out a blessing consciously because I'm willing to take on loads of things at the same time to figure out what's going on. I don't disregard things until I have justification to say, sorry, bro. Sometimes I go too far, as we can see, but most of the times I try and keep it a level distance to go.
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
not
yeah.
for me. Do you know what I mean?
I hear that still.
And because I feel I'm God blessed, how can I block a
Chris,
blessing?
exactly. Yeah, do you know what? Like, obviously, I go by the thing of whatever is supposed to be for me is not going to pass me. Yeah. But, like, I don't know. So, like, I had a conversation with someone yesterday. I can't even really go into the conversation because I don't want to give out some people's business or whatever. But just that whole thing of blocking a blessing kind of came up. And I thought, like, have I ever done that? Or have I put myself in a position where I know that in my mind I'm saying to myself, do you know what, maybe I shouldn't do this, but I'm gonna do it because this just feels good for whatever reason, whether it's for monetary gain or whether it's an intimate thing or whatever, like intimacy thing or a relationship or whatever, but knowing that really that is not necessarily for me, which then could in turn block a blessing. But then is there such a thing of blocking a blessing? Is that just how it's supposed to be? Is that just how it's supposed to be? This is a deep one.
Chucks, do you know what?
This is a deep
You're
one,
getting
bro.
into a fate.
But
now.
Chuck,
Is
this-
it
Yeah, we're
fate
getting into-
or
I
not?
know.
And that's,
Do you know
can't
what?
really
As
talk
Joe
about
Budden
it.
was saying,
But-
now we're podding.
That's where I think it's confusing to me. Because you know I said at the end of it, I said I'm God blessed.
Yeah.
Then I'm the blessing.
Straight.
So then...
So how could you block a blessing?
How can
then?
you block a blessing? You can block me. Well, I see what you're talking about. Then you have blocked a blessing, big man. But apart from, I don't really understand that. And that's why I don't take these little westernized terminologies. I'm not dealing with it. Do you know, I'm a man of faith, dog. I'm a man of God. So if I'm a man of God and I'm using his principle to go up with my life, I haven't blocked a blessing. I've avoided a distraction. And I know that's going to sound mad arrogant. I know that's going to sound mad crazy. But I always say to people, the mantra I've been recently, of the past year, working off, is a mantra that was given to me. It's not my mantra. I'm not going to take credit for it like I'm the man. My dad gave it to me, and his dad gave it to him, and his dad gave it to him. And they've all been really good people in their life. So if that's the mantra to be a good person, how can I block a blessing?
Yeah.
I am the blessing. I'm going forward and hopefully I can help everybody. Because my life is not for me. I've taken something from my father and said, this is the work I would like to carry out. And my services are for people. So really and truly, if that is the way in which you think about life and you try to move forward, I want to know the blessing that, the blessing that you block, because essentially, if anything, you've avoided a distraction, and we're not at the end of our journey. When you're laying in your deathbed, that's when you know if you blocked a blessing.
Straight.
How can you tell me at 20 years or 25 years when you haven't even come halfway through your life?
I guess if you believe in fate as well, then you can't block a blessing, could you?
But what's fate?
Because that's supposed to happen, isn't it?
But then fate, again, who made up this fate thing? Because I keep have to let man know. I go right back like I'm Bellerin, fam. Man are a man of God. Man is a man of that said, yo, my father said to me straight, this is the way you're meant to live your life. And throughout that, you will find out everything you need to find out. So if that's what you call fate, then fair bit, so be it.
But that's more the word of God, though, right?
Yeah,
or from what people say.
It's just a faith thing. It's just like how I feel when how I feel about the mantra that's been given. It's very, very simple. So all of these things like fate and all of these types of terminologies, I just look at them and I'm like, I get it. I do get it. I understand what you're saying. Block a blessing. Yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
But that just seems like you're coming to a conclusion, but your life hasn't stopped. And I'm just like, that's even crazy. Why are you restricting things? Why are you restricting your mindset? Leave it open. Let's just say that hasn't blocked a blessing, but let me see how that one pans out in the next. Because I can say the person I'm seeing right now, I met them a year and a bit beforehand and spoke to them for all of 1 second. I didn't talk to them. I didn't say nothing to them. A year and a bit later, I'm in a situation where I'm very happy. I never ever thought for 1 second that situation was going to manifest into anything. I didn't think anything of it.
Did you just let it be?
I didn't even have an opinion, Chucky. And somebody would have said at the time, if they knew both people, you people should whatever. And some people could have gone, oh, if you avoided it, you block a blessing. For whatever reason, I wasn't. Do you know what I'm saying? But for me, my thing is, this is what I'm doing right now. So I ain't got to worry about nothing else. This is what's going on right now. But then when the situation changes and now all of a sudden you're a bit more open and your peripheral vision's looking left and right, you then take a look at the options that you have. You might get into, do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I'm in a situation that if I listened to somebody earlier and gave me a really weird, restrictive perspective, they would have said you blocked a blessing by not taking on that opportunity. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So I'm just
in that context, But sometimes it's about listening to yourself, nah?
But then where are you getting your information from? Because if you listen to yourself and you've had a bad teacher, because remember, when you were born, you didn't know shit. So then if you're listening to yourself, that would have been advice you got from someone. So if that person was a bad teacher, should you listen to yourself?
I hear that.
Because I tell you what, some people are listening to themselves and I look at their decisions and I'm like, yo, who told you to do that? Me. Well, never told me to do that. Because bomba clock, dog, throw away the shovel.
I hear that.
Throw away the shovel.
Yeah. I could go... because my brain's starting to do stuff.
I hear you. Go left.
Do you get what I'm saying? But like...
No, wait. Pause.
Yeah, pause. I find it... because I'm trying to work it out. When I mentioned it, I didn't even think about it. But I guess, you know what? I'm going to think about it a little bit more. And if it ever comes up again, then I'll kind of share my thoughts. I'm still trying to galvanate them and trying to understand if that concept even exists.
Because Chucky, do you know what it is? I do understand why. Yeah, I do understand, and it
exist?
probably does. I can't say it doesn't exist. It's here, but for me, I just don't understand how people genuinely in life, and maybe it's because of the way life is given to you. Life is presented to you like, if you ain't got it sorted out by 18 years old, fam, it's a fucked. So maybe that's the reasons why people say things like block a blessing and so on and so forth, to keep you in a restrictive mindset that makes you feel like for the first 30 years, if it's not sorted out, oh my God, what do I do? It puts you in a bit of a panic stage, and cause you're not... The expected age of people on planet Earth is 79. If you think you haven't got it figured out by 30 years old, it doesn't matter. I don't think you've blocked a blessing. I just think, all right, it's what you learned.
That does depend on the context, though, because the thing is, blocking a blessing could also mean not putting yourself in this pigeonhole or whatever. It could also mean by broadening your horizon and your mindset more so than anything, because you're blocking a blessing could be seen as you're being tunnel visioned on something that, like, in the greater scheme of it, is not that important. There's if you looked at things from a wider perspective, you'd open your mind to seeing more and maybe accepting more or accepting better.
But I'm looking at the words.
So again, I guess it just depends on the context, no?
But I'm looking at the words. If you're a person of God, that means you're God blessed. So how can you block a blessing if you're you are the blessing. You're the thing to get blocked.
Yeah, but not everyone. I don't think anyone who thinks of blocking a blessing sees it from a God point of view, though.
But then, what point of view are you seeing it from? Because it doesn't matter what point of view you see it from. It's about from the point of view that exists. Like it does. Look, I just hate this whole in my mind stuff. I've even had to separate myself from it. I've been so guilty of it. And it's like the more you live, the more you realize, cuz you're not the first person here. You're not going to be the last person
Definitely
here.
not.
So let's just see what's going on in life. And I think if you recognize that you are a blessing, if you recognize that you're the guy and whatever you've been set here to do, you can achieve, who gives a fuck? You haven't blocked a blessing. You are the blessed person, my friend. You've been given life. You
know what is
can
mad?
do it.
I just think about this, yeah? It's 2020, right? 2020 years. Obviously, there was more years before that of life, yeah? In the greater scheme of numbers, 2020 isn't a lot.
But isn't that
Do you know
like,
how mad that is when you really think about it?
Isn't that AD, right?
In years.
In years.
Yeah. That's just since Jesus died, though.
Yeah, no.
So before
that's what I'm saying. Okay, you missed
So
the point.
time is long.
You missed the part of what I said. There's obviously life, obviously way before that.
Oh.
But I'm just saying, in the number,
Yeah.
right, from that, like
Yeah.
2020 up to now, 2020,
Yeah.
in the greater scheme of actual numbers,
No, that's nothing.
that's nothing.
No, that's nothing.
And we're just living this moment thinking we're mad important than that.
Yeah,
There might be another 2020 years are gone. And then what?
And the rest.
And the rest. And then
So
what's
Chucky,
happening? Where are we at?
Now, Chucky,
rest,
pause.
You know what? This is why.
All right, Callum,
this is
pause
why-
there. Now,
this is
pause
why
that.
This is why certain things about legacy. This is why certain
But
things
Chucky,
about
it's not
legacy.
always about legacy. That's why I say, how can we, if you say it like that, 2020 years, and you mean to
2020
tell me
years.
today you've blocked a blessing? Who the fuck do you think you are? You are a grain of a sand on a beach.
Fam, there's
Yeah.
a,
I just don't understand how you genuinely feel within your life that you're...
there is a number
you're
that
the
says
blessing.
there is a number that says 100,000. There's a number that says 100,000. Yeah,
So deep.
we are in 2020.
It's mental.
There's a number that says 500,000. I don't want to like, yo,
Chucky, this is what
man
I'm
have
going
to
to
go outside.
Chucky, this is what I'm
It's
going to say to you right
lit.
now.
We gotta go outside. Lit.
This is what I'm going to say to you right now, actually. When you say it like that
Problems ain't so
now,
bad.
when you
It's
say
nuts.
it like that, I then take a look at my culture and I take a look at all the significant cultural figures within my life, not in my life, sorry, within life that are related to my struggle. And some of the most famous people within my story
Yeah,
didn't have £1 million.
straight.
Some of the famous people in my story weren't the most successful person in the fucking commercial world. You see, in the commercial world, all the famous people, if they weren't rulers or kings or queens or whatever, more time they might be known, but not as big as them people. Rosa Parks is a hero in my world.
Facts.
So if that's the world I'm coming from, it makes me feel like even more. Cuz, what are you talking about blocking a blessing? What are you talking about anything? Rosa Parks is a hero in my community, you know, for saying I'm not getting up.
She said,
so
what?
more
She said
time.
what? She said, sit where?
Listen.
Listen, I'm sitting here.
So-
You want me to go to the back? I'll go to the back when I want to go to the back.
So
fuck you.
So Chucky, surely the way you actually are remembered amongst all of these years, sorry to go on a tangent on it because I'm thinking about blocking a blessing. You are the blessing. You just have to realize who you are. And then what happens is the moment that you make and you create becomes a staple piece of why people go, that's why I love Rosa Parks, because she didn't get up. That's why I love Chucky, because everywhere he goes, and then that becomes a significant piece of information that defines you as your blessing. Until you can go and make all the money in the world you want, fam. If you ain't done nothing for your community, fam, you ain't shit. And doing stuff for your community is not advertising it in a place where your community can't access it. Doing something for your community means going to your community, and if no one in the commercial world finds out, it doesn't matter. That's doing something for your community.
So anyway,
So like, I think to me, once you realize that,
hear
you'll
that.
realize you're the
Very
blessing.
sick.
You're actually the blessing. You go out and do something in your community,
Fact.
you'll feel some type of thing that makes you go,
Yeah.
whoa, that's the blessing, because you're giving off your energy and your significance, and people are like, I like this.
For real.
You put a room of 10 people like that, jeez, I don't know what the hell you're going to create. But the moment you keep externalizing the blessing, blood, it makes you weak.
yeah.
No, you're the strength, you're the power, you're the blessing. You can't be blocked. You
hear that.
cannot. You can only block yourself, and that's how you block the blessing. When you block yourself. Sorry about that. I feel like I'm in church or something.
See Rosa Parks, yeah.
Gangster.
This might sound blasphemous.
Oh God.
But like, obviously, what she did was amazing in that because obviously we were allowed to sit at the front
The
of
fact
the
that you
bus
said
and that.
but before that.
No, obviously
But
we're
she
allowed
sat
to,
down.
we're allowed to
Lit.
sit at the front of the bus and that. The only thing is though, unfortunately, the front of the bus is still not lit.
Oh, okay. No, right, yeah, okay, fair
Like,
enough. I'm with you
obviously,
on that.
man, still like
Back of the bus
I
is
like the
where it's
back of
at.
the bus still.
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
lie.
I can't lie.
It's kind of lit.
But do you know what Rosa Parks gave us? NSG. Option.
Yes,
I hear that.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah,
hear
yeah,
that
yeah.
strongly.
Yeah, yeah.